Alrighty, series, All His Revenge series commentary. Woo! So this will be kind of fun, just kind of look over the whole thing and just go over some fun facts, behind the scenes, and all that. Anyway, thought process, what have you. This shot's great except for one thing. Check this out. This little piece of like island right there. Oh my gosh, I didn't notice that the first time, so I was like, dang it. But anyway, sweet. Did you know that in the opening shot here, the train is not actually moving? It's the camera moving. Because otherwise, with like the scripting, the whole train would have broken up because it's all janky. With part one, I really wanted to figure out how to catch, someone, viewers' eyes, with, just grab their attention within 30 seconds. And I thought, well, pigs with guns and CGI aircraft, railroad tracks, and a bomb. That's great, right? um, So people were confused about the aircraft. It's actually from a thesis project of mine. It's kind of a personal project that I've been working on. I worked on for about 2 years straight, and then I've been taking a hiatus for about a year now. It's basically a completely animated short where I do everything. So it's been a lot of work, but I thought this guy needs an awesome aircraft, so why not use that one, right? Um, it's funny, if there are some of these shots, and there's quite a lot of parallels to the opening scene of Expendables 3. with like with the whole railroad tracks, and I mean they don't use a bomb, but they arm like a tripwire that knocks all the people off the top of the train later on. But anyway, I mean that was still pretty cool. Got some nice keying and stuff like that with all the trees going by, the pigs and all that. Some of these shots I definitely could have done better, but I think this video right here alone had like 58 VFX shots of some kind of CGI component or editing. There was a lot of stop motion actually, and the beauty of stop motion, it was able to help me get some shots done that just would not have been possible. Like the sword flying into the pig that you saw earlier, that was all stop motion. Basically, go screenshot by screenshot and using the loadout cameras, and then downloading all the screenshots and putting them into a folder. When I import that from the folder into After Effects, because of the way you download it, it puts them all with a number, and it interprets it as if it's animation. So it's just one layer. So it's pretty much like you're importing a video, which makes the whole process seem not as bad. Oh, check this out! The only appearance of the grunts right there. They're in the series. The helmet switch. People ask me about that. Check check this out. Halo 5's UI is so bad that when I went to look for the helmet, because at this point my actor had kind of dropped off like the grid for a little while, I could not find the helmet. For a moment I didn't think I had it. And I mean I was level like 144 in Halo 5, so I had like almost all the armor. And yeah, I didn't. I had it all along, but I didn't actually think that I did. So that was I just went with a different helmet. So I later on found out that I had the helmet, and when I was body acting for the character in part 3 and part 4, I think I did all of that character's work. Uh, a nice little scene here with all the pipes and stuff. That shot with the pig with the whole camera shake right there, and that was actually like CGI too, and actually stop motion as well, getting everything to work right. That was really tricky. Nice little fluid effects explosion from Maya. Those are tricky for sure. Yeah, something a little different. Another thing that kind of bothers me with the whole series as a whole is that if you're going to do a series and stuff, find the fonts that you want and write them down, because I mean, it's not a big deal to most people, but for me, it's like I use several different fonts throughout the whole series, and that just kind of like bugs me that I didn't stick with one. But, oh well. Yeah, part one, something a little bit different than what you're expecting. I think part two only took me like 29 or 30 days. Pretty much knocked it out. Since there wasn't any body acting, I was able to do it like all in one by myself. Got some nice reveal shots here. The sword and the and that hatch door, and the rocket launcher in this next shot. You're supposed to, as the viewer, connect those so that it makes sense why there is a pig still alive, which you'll see, I think, after the title intro here in a little bit. But it helps support the notion that a pig survived, and it's the one that gets stabbed with the throwing sword, since you had the door and the sword and the rocket launcher. It's these little clues that help you. Makes it, it makes it like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Well, as if everything else makes sense in this series. The goal of part 2 really was, can I make a Machinima short with no Spartans? And I think for the most part, I'd give myself like a B minus. Like I think that this is pretty good, but there's certainly some things that I would have done a little bit differently. But again, this is one of those moments where I took a track from a soundtrack and I composed a scene out of it. So much like the battle scene in part 4, I just listened to this track like over and over and over, just trying to figure out what how what makes sense. So this next shot, not this one, but the one coming up. Well, not this one, but that does look really cool. If you notice in this shot, because we are underwater, what I would hope people would expect, or suspect at least, is that the whales are in it at some place. And it foreshadows the whale's involvement in part 4, in that if you look where the mouse is right here, there's a whale right there, Timmy the whale. And then think over here, there's one right there. Now, looking back at this, I probably would have made the pigs closer to the camera. So, or not the pigs, the whales. I probably would have put the whales closer to the camera because it is kind of hard to see. And the whole submarine is like the focal point. It passes over the camera. But that's just one of those little clues. And because you're in an ocean. You're in an ocean. You expect pigs. Not pigs. What am I saying? You expect whales. But I love this shot right here. But it's interesting that a lot of people didn't notice. If you look at the silhouette, this little shape right there, and then also there's one kind of right there. It's hard to see, but right there, if you're a Forge guy and you know the palette and you kind of know the creatures, I mean that's like a dead giveaway that's Timmy the whale. Especially it's like cut back to the crab in the same way, like right here, he's framed right, kind of like middle right, and you can see the Timmy right there, and accompanied by the music, and like another shot or two, his like Timmy fades out, and it's just like, to me, I thought that was a dead giveaway, or that was just so obvious, but a lot of people didn't see it, or I guess didn't say anything about it, but I don't know. We got the Overlord himself, first appearance. This ridiculous multi-monitor setup. And this shot right here is really neat. It's hard to see, but like right about here, there is like kind of like the dividing line. There's I think 8 layers here from a footage where I put pigs in different spots so I can put like 3,000 on the screen at once. Because otherwise, you can only place like 900, which sounds like a lot, but when you're doing a scene like this, it just I needed more. And yeah, a lot of people were wondering. And yes, it is like a direct spoof of The Force Awakens. I mean, I actually like looked at that scene and like looked at the shots to try and figure out what shots could I do in the time that I had. And that laser is just particle effects out of Maya. Very simple to do. If you guys want like a tutorial on any kind of certain part of any one of the parts, just like let me know in the comments. Because I know I did do a lot of weird, not really weird, but some interesting effects. Part 3, this one's interesting. This opening scene is actually, it goes back to the opening cutscene of Time Splitters 2. Well, at least like the Aztec mission. This map is a remake of that map, and the place that this scene takes place is directly like it's the same as in the map's cutscene itself, and from the actual game, if that makes sense. Except instead of a pig, it's like a stone golem, but the sliding, the grenades. This scene was a lot of fun. It was, just a 45-second bit chase scene, very solid with the shots back and forth. It's almost enough to be its own little like 50-second gag. Like if you just want to put something up random on YouTube that you did in a week. We cut back to our main character. I wish I showed more of the inside of the ship, but that didn't end up happening. I had this idea for part 4 when it's like the showdown at the very end and they're in space, where like it cuts to Olive, then it cuts to the ship, and then it cuts to inside the ship, and the guy's just asleep, and there's like a snoring sound effect. That would have been funny. I don't know why I didn't do that. This shot I would have I would really want to redo. It's just really dark. And there's my logo too. A little cameo appearance of the logo. All right, whoever's the body actor on this tank right here, you're awesome because like I love how you got up and then you went to the other part of the tank and then you like just pretending like you're doing something at the same time as me like successfully doing like a smooth shot. That's not really easy with the 2 thumbsticks, but whoever you are, you're awesome. And check this out. Check out the monitor right up here, the top right. What that's showing there, that's actually from part 4. That shot was actually done before part 1 was even done. That was like an experiment we did really early on about thinking like scripts and like what you could do with the warthogs and blowing things up. And so that was actually done like before part 1 even. All the random videos. If you haven't seen like the Sex Offender Shuffle, it's hilarious. You should go watch it. It's just this totally bizarre and it's filmed as if it's like an 80s thing, and it's just hilarious. It's in standard def too. PSD, that .pst, that's Photoshop, in case you're wondering, if you didn't know that. Yeah, this little montage of scenes, this was really nice in the fact that I had all these Time Splitters maps, these remake maps that I was doing for a long time. And I just needed all these different environments to show the fact that like the ring is being invaded by pigs. And all the maps are, because it's maps, the original game has Time Splitters is all about different time periods and maps, and so everything's really diverse. So that kind of enabled me to be able to pull that off. Plus, I didn't have time to forge all the stuff, so that was a nice little thing. The best part about this scene here is that all my buddies, except for the person that pressed the switch, they had no idea that this bridge was going to blow up here, and that whole rig took a little while to figure out. It took me like 2 hours to rebuild it and test it and retest and make adjustments. But it was great. Everyone's like, "Oh, like that's so cool!" Like they had no idea. The pistol, or the pig with the pistol. It sounds like Hawkmoon from Destiny. That was fun. This tank scene, I was also in my opinion, another star of the whole series. Another one of those standout moments, just because of the music and the shots, the way things are timed. I just really loved the way this turned out. The original idea was to have these pigs actually like consume like the Spartans, but with that script where they targeted like a player, they would all go to one player instead of multiple players. And the idea was I had a rig where kill balls, invisible kill balls, lowered onto the map, and then just like disintegrated everybody. But that didn't end up working, unfortunately. So I was kind of bummed. But oh well. Part 3, that was done. I think that was like a month and about a week. That was a really hectic schedule. That shot of the city too, with the beam coming down, and also cuts back to that in part 4 and in the teaser. That actually was I'll check this out. The very top right here, that little text that says Piri. That's during the production, me and some buddies, we joked about how like his name in the credits should be like size 6 font. So I actually did it. I just thought that was funny. But anyway. But yeah, that shot with the city, that city was actually, that was like 7 or 6 different layers of stuff out of Forge, just simply because if you really look at it and you know the Forge well, you just could not put that much on screen. So that's one of those special effects shots that I counted. Yeah, part three was a lot of fun. The whole battle at the end was very tricky to figure out. All the pigs like disappearing, getting shot. Me and one of my assistant directors, we actually had this rig with like buttons that we would just like sidestep and press back and forth to despawn certain pigs, and just told my actors to shoot the pigs. This is a fun little behind the scenes bit. That tank stunt was tricky too. There was a lot of because you got like little invisible slides that make it like keep going, and then it's a question of how high do I put the pigs and this and that, and no, it was another one of those 2 or 3 hours work for just a little stunt, but hundreds of hours of work for a 14-minute video. Man, it was all worth it. I enjoyed this whole series. It was just something different, you know. When I thought about making a machinima, it was just like I gotta do something different. You know, I can't just do another. We have to fight the Covenant. Like no, like it's just so obnoxious. Yeah, for part four, I actually spent the first 3 weeks just modeling like the pig, modeling Olive and Maya, and then texturing it, and then making the Overlord's suit right here that you're seeing. Um, Without making it like a CG model, I just would not have been able to pull off like this epic battle. Just because after part three was done, I really felt like I hit this roadblock of just like stunts and like what you could do with scripts. I thought if I'm gonna have a 5 minute battle scene, I really got to do something like I really got to take it to the next level. So this shot like right here with all the Spartans, that was just me and one of my buddies. We it was we were really bored, and I was like, "Hey, I got this shot with like 80 Spartans. Like, you want to help me out with this for 2 hours?" Like, so that was really fun to do. This bit right here is neat because if you listen to the audio, I actually modulated the Warthog audio so it sounds like it's in a tunnel. So I thought that was really cool as well. Just going the extra mile with the audio mix. We got lots of Warthogs. Nice. This shot turned out really well. The fact that the camera went under two Warthogs, that was awesome. I love that shot. And cutting back to our main character and his aircraft. I like that shot. That's nice. This little tracking shot where, yeah, a little foreshadowing of death. I wonder what that's about. All these tanks. I think we filmed for like 3 weeks straight. It was just every Sunday from 7 to 8. I was just like, all right, guys, Sunday is 7 to 8. Like, this guy with the hot dog stand. This little bit here with all that little industrial scene there, that was actually forged by my buddy Mobius. He was my assistant. He was my assistant forger. Um, and it was really, really nice to have him. He's actually helping me out with our next, with the next big thing. So I'm really excited for it. And we were forging the other day, and just we're talking a lot about like pre-production and how I really want to have a solid pre-production. Like just we're talking 3-4 months. Just really get these nice forge sets. So that's in the works, and we'll talk more about the. I'll elaborate a little bit later on the next big thing after this is over. But looking out at all the pigs. For these little shots here with all the pigs, I basically made a line of them, like 40 of them in Maya, because the poly count's like I think 2,000, about 2,000 polys for like the pig, and so I couldn't just put all the pigs in one like scene. It just like Maya would have ran so slowly, if at all, because I basically rendered out a strip at like a really far like distance, and then I just kept duplicating that layer and like rescaling and then redoing color correction. And basically, if you were to do the math, there's like I think 34,000 pigs in this upcoming shot here where it shows like all of them. So, oh, the Timmy helmet, look at that. I really wish I would have had movement on this shot. I'm not a big fan of just the still, but oh well. Yeah, this shot right here. All those pigs. I was really surprised. Not a lot of people really complained or just like bashed like all the CGI stuff that I did. Um, the chair. That was the only stop motion shot out of this whole part. Was that chair falling over? But yeah, I was a little nervous going into the CG heavy stuff, especially the scenes that are completely just computer generated. I was really nervous about how that would be received, especially on the time crunch I had. I just didn't have enough time to really, in my opinion, I didn't have enough time to really pull it off the way that I would have wanted. I say this because my school runs on quarters, and this week I just started my second to last quarter at the Art Institute, so I wanted to have this done before school, went back or at whatever. That shot with the explosion and the barrier, one of my buddies pointed out, I never thought about it, but the barrier is completely fine after the explosion and everyone's dead. I thought that was funny. It's just drop everything and blow yourself up. That was great. I really wanted to do an awesome highway scene as well, but this one just really pulling it off the way that I would have wanted. Like, the inspiration would have been like, the second Matrix film with their highway chase scene that took them 3 months to film. But there's just no way I could have done it like justice. So I cut it down like a 20-second bit. These scenes here were a lot of fun because we came up with rigs, and I just told my friends, here's what's gonna happen, and just fire this way and just do your best. The only thing I regret about this scene is just not finding some good like bowling ball sound effects, or even recording my own. Maybe I probably could have done that, but oh well. that that naval ship horn. A lot of people were wondering what this next thing was about. The welcome wagon. A former peer of mine at college. He's a great like 2D artist. Just that's all he wanted to do, and he's actually worked at various like production companies since he's graduated. But he had this 3D animation final where he just completely like neglected it and did the bare minimum, and he made this like welcome wagon thing, and just and everyone was kind of shocked because it was almost like an insult because of how bad it was on purpose, and it turned into this school-wide like phenomenon where he made a physical version of it, like with like a tricycle thing, for the wheel, and it was just hilarious. It turned into this huge thing for like 2 years, but that was a lot of fun putting that animation together. The timing here with the music, I really love the timing. I really like some of these shots. And here, I gotta thank, I think Captain Direwolf was the one that did the naval ship, the drivable ship. Um, and the pig right there, that's supposed to be the pig from part 2 with the crabs. So that's what that shot was all about, in case you're wondering. I really wish I could have done a more epic naval scene, but I mean, you could barely have 4 of these ships on screen at the same time, and then things are starting to flash and not, be in the shots. This coming shot right here, oh my gosh, this one like right here. This one, of all the shots in the series, this one was the longest and most time-consuming one to pull off. I think it was like 8 hours of from conception to just pulling it, like forging and then editing. Because I think there's like 30 something layers in here, where I basically built a forge map where imagine a bunch of bowling lanes with invisible like walls between, so you can't like strafe too far like left or right. And we literally just filmed this on a massive green screen, and I told them there's a chance that you'll die. Don't use any Spartan abilities. Just accept what happens. So they're invisible man cannons that propel people up into the air, and they die. And some people keep going forward, and then I get the pigs moving forward. Now those are animated in Maya, obviously. But there's one big thing here that if for any artist or any video maker that really knows like their stuff, the only thing that doesn't really sell the shot or doesn't really help it at all is there's no kind of shadows, no lighting over here. That's a weird shadow there. I don't know what that's from, but there's no sense of the feet, like having any gravity in the scene where the foot should make contact with the ground. You just have a flat surface here. So that's the only thing that really like detracts from it. Also the weird purple hue I got because the key light, because I stacked like so many key light effects. I didn't quite use them like that well, unfortunately. I'm still kind of new to doing like that specific key light, but keying effect. But yeah, that shot was like 8 hours of work easily. But and then these little shots here. Well, I guess I paused at the wrong point, but yeah, in case you were wondering, because someone asked me about it, but basically I took these assassinations, we filmed them at certain angles so that I could then cut out, because I had to have the person performing the assassination visible at all times, and so I had to cut out frame by frame. I had to like cut out the person being killed, and then reanimate, or not but animate pigs on top. And I think it was worth it. It definitely, just think it's funny. And yeah, this whole bit right here, everything just going crazy. It was a lot of fun. And all these Spartans too, that's all me, except for this shot here. But all the other ones was just me doing wacky stuff in front of a green screen. But this whole CG bit I did in I think 8 days, 8 or 9 days. It's definitely really, really, really stressful. It was great because, and the timing right here, bursting through that wall with the timing of the track, that was just great. It's funny, these Model B Wright Flyers, my dad and I were at the Dayton Air Show in Ohio, and they had one of the originals, and he kind of nudged me and was like, you should totally put this in your finale. And at the time, I just started this like CG bit, and I said, wow, I totally have a spot for it, like I'll do it. And so I did it. Just the fact that those flyers could keep up with that sci-fi aircraft was just that notion alone was hilarious. And this cool bit here. This was challenging to figure out the angles as far as what I filmed in Halo, and that shot right there, zooming. I just loved how that turned out. A very simple explosion I did in Maya, just some basic animation, some glow effects, and that was like only 20 minutes of work. Just did it real fast. Anyone who knows me well knows that The Matrix is my favorite series of like movie series, and I just had to do like a Matrix spoof, and so this was it. the lightning in space. Don't ask. Yeah, I liked how this turned out. This is the final scene that I had to do before everything else was done. I had the other scenes that come after this already done. Kind of did some things out of order, but some nice Maya generated clouds up there. That was an interesting little learning experience. The fluid effects, actually. The only thing I regret here is all the cuts to black. I didn't know exactly. I shouldn't say I didn't know. I didn't feel like there was a better way to like transition, honestly. But it comes back to the teaser, so that's kind of cool. When I made the teaser in October, I didn't think I was gonna do the mech suit, the Overlord mech suit. So this is the big bad guy. So there are people that were like, oh, where does mech suit go? Like, I don't know, it broke. And yeah, Timmy the whale, Timmy the space whale. It's not a series, a complete series without him, that's for sure. I don't think a lot of people expected it, but to me, in my head, I thought it would have been obvious. Like just because I use, the crabs, the pigs, he's gonna use the whale. Like, yeah, there's an ocean like right on the edge of the city, so yeah. And that shot, someone asked me, did he headbutt Timmy? And the answer is no. The shot where the sky turns all weird and there's some funny sounds, the idea is that he just like telekinetically pulls Olive. So that's what that was. Descending into the ocean. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I definitely got to thank if you helped out with the body acting. This is only possible because you guys helped me out. Like without you guys, I wouldn't have been able to do this. So I just got to say thank you again. Like without you guys, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So you guys are awesome. I appreciate your help bringing this vision to life. Little fun fact: this was actually released exactly 4 months after Part 3 on Bungie Day, actually, July 7th. So that was kind of cool. And yeah, my buddy Aaron, he has that gamer tag Aaron. That's legit. He's got the OG Xbox Live Aaron gamer tag. He has like 1,000 followers or something. uh, 0 degree Kyle. That's the guy that played the main dude in the part one, at least until I had to step in and do it myself. But software workflow and all that. If you do audio mixing and you have like multi monitors, Adobe Bridge, definitely look into it. It's really nice, really awesome. So in case you're wondering, a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but I'm guessing you guys are curious what's next. Obviously, there's the thing after the credits. Um, the plan right now is because I graduate in December with a bachelor's in media arts and animation. Um, I'm gonna have to graduate and figure out where I'm going and get a job and all that. But that's not to say that I'm not done on YouTube. So we do have another big project planned. And it's if you liked Olive's Revenge, you'll definitely like what we have planned. I'm definitely keeping it under wraps, but we've already started pre-production with some of the forging. I also need to write a script and find voice actors, so that's going to be a thing. So it won't be a silent film, so that's kind of daunting, But we're going to take it a little slower just because I have to focus on portfolio. But the idea or the goal is to have this done by I think start like actually like filming and like production. I want to start that in like January-ish of like next year, and hopefully get it done by like April. But it's a big project. It's definitely gonna be funny. I got a lot of great ideas and scene ideas already like in my head, so I'm really excited for it. But until then, I'm not really gonna say much. But during these next few months, I'll be putting out less content. So make sure you unsubscribe for less content. And yeah, other than that, I get this nice little epilogue scene. I love the sound when the pig hits the ground there. That sound that I managed to pull off was great. Oh boy, what's gonna happen? Oh man. Yeah, that's the director's commentary actually. Woo. Um, but yeah, the plan is to just take things a little easier. I'll still be uploading smaller videos here and there, but other than that, hope you guys had found this like insightful or enjoyable in some way, or at least made falling asleep easier or something. But thanks for watching, guys, and I guess I'll talk to you guys later.